All right, first thing, opening the door. The easiest thing to do for me, right hand cups this little coupling here. Left hand operates the knob. You're just going to pull it down. Little roller right here, and there's a wheel at the back end of this little coupling thing that you want to get on this track. So you're going to pull it out far enough to get on that track. Once it's on that track, you can slide the door back. Once the door's back, if you stop here, you can go back and forward. But if you pull it all the way back to hear it click, you can no longer push the door forward. And now it's locked. There is a pin right here blocking this wheel. So if you look inside the aircraft, there's this little red arrow with this red tab right above it. That's telling you to push that tab towards that side of the aircraft. So I like to use my two middle fingers, push it away. You'll see that pin move away from that wheel, and you can slide the door forward, okay? To shut the door, it's just gonna be a complete opposite of what we just did. Once you get it towards this little hole where the wheel is, you push the door in with your right hand, rotate the lever up. You don't want to grab here. There's just two pins here, the top and bottom. Very little pressure will flex those pins just enough to where they don't operate anymore and the door will fly open. So don't grab this door at all. There is a handle on the back of this seat you can grab onto. Our two newer aircraft, which are one's here and one's outside, have a bar right here, a silver bar that you can grab onto as well, okay? But in this aircraft, there's only this one handle here, so you can put a hand on the floor, grab here, lift yourself up. When we enter the aircraft, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a squat and face towards the back. And no matter what you're doing, if you're just doing a hover step or whatever, just getting the habit of facing towards the back becomes real important when we're doing hoisting, okay? We'll demonstrate that later. So you step in, face towards the back. If you're the last person in or the only person in, now we're going to shut this door from the inside. Just a complete opposite, same thing we did before. You move that tab. If it's locked all the way back, slide the door forward.
All right, so if we can't land, our next option that we're going to go for is going to be a hover step. So we'll brief that really quickly. Basically, a hover step is the pilot's going to hover the aircraft about 6 inches to a foot off the ground. The left side is going to be obviously on something that you guys can walk out onto, whether that's a large rock or like the edge of a cliff or the edge of the mountain or whatever. The right side may be, off to infinity, but the left side will be onto something you can step off the skid and directly onto. So that's going to be the next safest thing after actually landing. So the way that'll work is this is the only time in the process that you guys are not going to be attached to the aircraft on the final approach, because once we get in that position, we want you either in or out as quickly as possible, so we don't have to try to maintain that position for a long period of time. So how that's going to work is if you're on the outside, you're going to get you in your spot, and you're going to take a knee, and we're going to come in. So once we come in, the TFO is going to be out, and he's going to give you a hand signal to stay in position right here. When he gets in position, what's going to be happening is the pilot can't see this side of the aircraft, okay? So the TFO is going to be in constant communication with the pilot, basically walking him in to the correct spot to get you guys onto the aircraft. And so he's going to be holding you in position, and once he gets you where he wants you, he's going to start waving you forward. And once he starts waving you forward, we want you coming up in a hurry, okay? Let me back that up. We don't want you guys running. Just quickly work your way up to the aircraft, okay? Quickly and safely. Come up. We're going to grab. What we like to grab is forearm to forearm like this, all right? Not hand to hand or any of this stuff. Forearm to forearm, because that way if we slip, hopefully we'll catch at the wrist and we won't go any farther than that, all right? Forearm to forearm, I'll pull you up. Remember that this aircraft's going to be 6 inches to a foot off the ground, so you're going to want to use that bottom step, okay? That bottom skid, it's on the ground now, it seems kind of uncomfortable, but when it's hovering, it's going to be a normal step for you. So it's going to be 1-2 steps up into the aircraft, and the second person should be right behind him. TFO is going to block the doorway so you can't fall out, and we're going to immediately shift off to the side while you guys work on getting seat belted in. All right. Getting out is going to be the exact opposite of that. When we're about a minute out, the TFO is going to come in. He's going to tell you we're a minute out. All right. He's going to give you a single finger up, letting you know to start preparing yourself to get out. As he gets to the final approach, he's going to turn around. He's going to tell you to take off your seatbelts. All right. At that point, go ahead and take off your seatbelts and secure them out of the way. Okay. And he's going to start working the way into position to get you guys back out. So be ready to go. Once he's ready, he's going to start waving you out. Remember to use both skids as you step down as smoothly as possible. All right. Step 1, step 2, and then onto the ground, because there's going to be a big drop off if you try and go off the top one all the way to the ground. The key is to be smooth, all right? Move quickly, but be smooth, all right? The aircraft's not going to be on the ground, so any movement you guys put into the aircraft, you're going to see it's going to move. It's going to move all over the place, and the pilot has to try and compensate for that while he's maintaining a hover. So that's kind of how that's going to go.
Yeah, one thing too is if you're the second person getting on or the second person getting out, once that person gets on or gets out, the aircraft may move a little bit. So you have to watch the TFO if you're the second person coming up. He may be waving you, but the last minute he may tell you to hold. You're going to get that aircraft back to where it needs to be. Just stop where you're at, if it's safe to do so, and wait for him to pull you back in. Okay, same thing getting out. You're the second person getting out, and you may get to right here, and he may stop you. Okay, so just let him get the aircraft where it needs to be, and then he'll wave you on when it's time. Okay.
So for hoisting, first there's a couple hand signals we want you guys to know. All right, after you guys get hooked in, the signal to lift is just a hand on top of your head, all the way out to the side. Nice, big, exaggerated movements, nice and slow. We want you to keep doing that until you've actually been lifted off the ground. All right. Once you've cut away, unhooked, when you land again and you got your feet on the ground and you've unhooked and you're ready for us to take the hook back up to the aircraft, you're just going to signal disconnect. It's going to be a fist to your chest, out to the side that you've disconnected. All right, and that'll be our signal that we can bring the hook back up. If any time you see anything or anything happens that we need to cease operations, the easiest thing for us to see is just to hold your hand out and chop your arm down with your fist, just like this. Okay, that's how the easiest thing for us to see. If you give us this, we'll probably be able to see that in the daytime. At nighttime, maybe not so much. Okay, so that's why we don't use the universal cutoff signal, because it's really tough for us to tell looking straight down on you what you're doing. For hoisting, once you get into position where we're going to lift you up from, we don't want you guys to chase the hook. Please just stand in one spot. Remember, this is training for us too. Okay, so stand in one place and let's bring the hook down to you. Once again, the same thing is like with the hover step. The pilot can't see any of what's going on out here. All he's doing is maintaining a hover, and he's going where the person who's standing out here is telling him to go. When we lift you guys, we want to try and align you guys up with the center of this hoist, directly over the top of your head as closely as possible, because when that happens, there's no swing when we lift you. All right, so if you guys are moving around, the natural tendency is when you're looking up, because it's hard to look straight up, is to step backwards, so it's easier on your back and your neck to see up and see the aircraft. Please don't do that, because if you move back and then we lift you, you've induced a swing immediately. All right, and the swing gets worse the higher up to the aircraft you get. So by the time you get up here, you may be coming up and looking at the pilot and then swinging back down. So you don't want that. So stand in one position, hold your arm out. We'll bring the hook right to you. Put the hook into your hand, reach out and grab it. Hook in, and then hold the hook out in front of you. All right. I'm going to caution all of you. I know it sounds stupid. Don't put your fingers inside the hook or inside your gear, because you probably like your fingers and thumbs and you don't want to lose them. So it sounds dumb, but I saw people doing it last week. So it just, please don't put your fingers inside your gear. Just consider it like a dynamic, like if you put it inside of a rappelling line, then you wouldn't put it inside of this. So hold it out in front of you so you can see that it's probably connected. Give us the signal to lift, all right? And we're gonna lift you, we're gonna line you up and bring you straight up. Once again, please don't move or try to sit. The other thing that will induce a swing is if you're trying to sit into the hook. As it starts to get taut, you'll sit into it and it induces a swing, all right? We want to lift you straight up off the ground, okay? We're gonna bring you up. You're gonna work your way up the skids. When you can reach the skids, we're gonna work your way up the skids, get lined up because you may not be facing the right direction. Come on up, work your way up the TFO's legs, and you're gonna reach out and grab this carabiner he's gonna have attached to the front of his gear right here with your right hand. Okay, that's for you to grab onto to stabilize yourself. We're gonna bring you all the way up onto the skids, grab your arm, move it into this handle, and then let you inside the aircraft. Yeah, and this, we're just simulating the hook with this piece of rope.
Yeah, I would have come up right in front of them and just let that winch take you up. You know, just
Let the
walk
machine
on
do the work, all right? Don't try and pull yourself up. Let the machine do the work.
up. Come in.
This is where this is where it becomes real important to face towards the back of the helicopter.
Right.
If you don't, it's twisted. You go forward. Next job. Yeah. And this is like a saw, that cable, and it only takes a couple inches real quick and you're done. Nice slow movements.
Once again, we want you guys to go ahead and seat belt in before you remove the hook. All right, so once you're belted and attached to the aircraft, go ahead and remove the hook at that point and hand it back out to the TFO. We'll send it down, bring up your partner, put them inside, and we'll go off and go what we're gonna do. After that's done and we're gonna lift you out, we're gonna send this hook back into you before we arrive where we're going, okay? We're gonna send it inside.
Seatbelt ready for your partner.
Yeah. We'll send the hook inside, let you start dealing with that, dealing with your seat belts, and the TFO is going to be back outside the aircraft working on getting you into position where we need to be at. So if there's a delay between them passing you the hook and turning around and telling you to come out, don't worry about that. That's just because we're busy, all right? What we don't...
I was just saying, just once you have that hook, stay where you're at until the TFO actually...
Right. What we don't want is we don't want a bunch of slack in this line and you to scoot all the way out and have all this line hanging out. Because if you then fall, it's 4 or 5 feet before it's going to jam, all right? It's going to shock load everything. So wait till we actually bring you out. Once we get in position, we see that you're ready, we'll take the slack out of the line and bring you out. This is where we want you to just have a seat on the edge. This is our opportunity and your opportunity to do a final check on your gear to make sure you're actually hooked into your carabiner and not a plastic D-ring or some other nonsense that's not going to hold your weight. All right, we're going to do a final check on it. That's your opportunity to do a final check as well. Then we're going to bring you out. So the TFO will present that carabiner again, let the machine do the work and bring you out. Give it a little nod, let you know you're ready to go, and we're going to send you down. Same thing, you work your way down the legs, work your way down the skids, and continue all the way down. Once you get down on the ground,
Going down, looking down.
if you fall, that's fine. We all fall. That's just part of the business. If you fall, just sit down and you can still remove the hook and cut away. So one thing to be mindful of is slack in the line. We're way above you and it's harder to judge distance. So we may have a lot of slack in this line and we just can't tell. So be careful that it doesn't wrap around you. All right, neck, head, arms, anything like that. All right, if there's a second person there, just grab that cable and pull it out with a thumb or a finger, okay? And keep that slack out and away from everybody so you know where it's at all times, all right? Never forget there's a 1,000 horsepower helicopter on the other end of this, all right? Please don't let the hook go in the dirt or the cable for that matter. It'll still work, it's just requires more cleaning. So the way these hooks all work is these are auto-locking hooks. So they should all auto-lock, and there's very little beak presented, so they're not supposed to cross-load a carabiner. So the easiest way to do them is to reach behind the hook. All right, you're gonna squeeze both sides. If you only squeeze one, it won't work, okay? You have to squeeze both sides and pull it back, all right? Bring it in, hook it into whatever you're gonna hook it into, and let it go, and then confirm that it locked every time. Yeah, don't unlock and lock your carabiners, all right? No. Check that before you're gonna ready to hoist. Make sure you're locked here and you're ready to go. The only thing you should be locking and unlocking is this hook right here. And just confirm it, this once again, when you're holding it out in front of you, that's to confirm that you haven't cross-loaded your carabiner. It's an aluminum can basically wrapped in rubber, except it's an aviation aluminum can, so it's really expensive. But if you squeeze it, it'll crush. It's a crush car, that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to take the shock if the brakes on the hoist don't work. So if you grab that and squeeze it, you're gonna damage it and we have to replace it. To hold something, because your gear isn't balanced properly, you can use an open hand on around this rubber boot or ring right here, or even on the back of the hook or whatever you're comfortable with. All right, but don't get up into this spring because it will pinch you. And please don't get on above this collar or above it. You don't want your hands on that wire either, because you see there's no wire exposed right now. You don't want your hand in between this hoist and that collar. Okay, so this rubber ring or below. All right, open hands are usually best.
No cable.
This is a bomb and screamer suit. So it's going to come in a bag. You're going to get a helmet for the person to wear, and the screamer suit itself. It's basically a big jacket slash diaper. So put it on just like a jacket. All right. Have them grab the collar right here. Choose the easiest way to grab it. Remember, there's straps on the inside as well. All right. So you're going to hook in this inside strap. Close up the bag. All right. There's 2 rings here in front. There's a crotch strap on the bottom. This crotch strap has 2 rings. Unless they're really, really small, like 5 foot or less, don't mess with this one. Use the longer one or it's going to be really uncomfortable. So the easiest way to do this is to take all 3 rings, together, and then bring the carabiner in and hook all 3 at once. That way you know none of them are spun, cross-loaded, or anything above. Make sure this carabiner is secure. Usually have them hold on with their thumbs in their arms like this, or grab the collar like Elvis right here. Hook will come in, you'll hook him in. You can control them. Some of them have a handle on the back, or you can just grab them, you kind of keep them in position, and you're going to give the signal to lift. All right, once they're ready. Let the aircraft know they're ready to lift, they'll go on up on their way. All right. It's pretty comfortable. It wraps them up very well, so they're usually very comfortable in the suit. We'll have you guys come through and demonstrate all this.
The strap, we also carry the strap with us in all the helicopters. We don't use this one very often, but it is a tool that's always there. If for some reason we get a call out with you guys and you guys need something, ask us. You know, if we don't carry it in the helicopter, ask us if you want something specific, and time permitting, we'll get whatever it is that you guys need. But if it's one of those things where we're in the area and you guys give us a call, this is what we're gonna have. We will have that, we will have this. So the strap, real simple to use. All you're gonna do is open it up, and you're gonna have your victim, we'll lower it down to you. You're gonna have your victim put their hands straight up, swim right inside of it, and then you're gonna wanna pull this deep up in the armpits, keep it nice and secure. If it's too low, as this starts tightening up and this is hooked up, it's going to tighten up on them, and if it's low, it's going to crush the ribs. So if you can, just get it real tight underneath the armpit and talk to your victim, explain to them exactly what it is that they're going to experience, and include them in the process. So if you want to tell them to hang on to this, you can come back here, and in the back side, you got this little zipper here, and again, it's the crotch strap here. So feed it through that way, and inside of here, there's a little notch right on this. Jerry's a big guy, so it's kind of hard to get in there, but the notch is made just to get this down in there. Cinch it up like that. You can keep this nice and loose, because again, as it comes up, it's going to pull and it's going to hurt. So try to keep this loose. Most people don't have this issue that Jerry has. Again, the hook's going to be secure. You'll secure this hook. Hooks comes down, hook it up. When you're ready to go, you've already briefed these guys, clear the lift signal. The TFO start lifting you guys up, and again, just kind of control this guy so he doesn't swing, maneuver him in the best position all the way until his feet comes off the ground. It's got the rescue triangle. We'll put the child inside here. Again, the yellow strap's going to be the crutch, and on this triangle here, you're going to do either metal to metal, or for a smaller child, you can use the little red loops in here, and it'll just cinch it up that much tighter for a smaller child. For simplicity, we'll use the metal hook. Again, center, you go in the center for the crotch. The 2 up, you'll keep the shorter carabiner hooked to the child. And I've heard someone say blue for baby, red for rescue. So the child's going to be secure on your on the victim or on the rescue personnel's lap. He can hold this up to ensure that it's not tangled up or twisted. Secure himself. Again, the other guy's going to be out here helping him out, making sure everything's good. Once it's good to go, the hook will come down, hook it up, and then when this guy's ready to go, he's hanging on the baby, ready to roll. You can wrap the baby any way that feels comfortable to you. I've never personally used this before, but from what I understand, if you wrap the baby's legs around your waist, like like you would carry a child, it's more secure for that child. So secure that baby. Once it's on here, again, you give the clear lift signal, and the TFO will start bringing you guys up.
Keep in mind,
You guys are going to demonstrate each one of these pieces of equipment. So as you guys demonstrated on the Stokes, this, you can do 4 or 5 man operation on this, work together as a team. I would suggest that as you guys are doing it, pick one team leader who's kind of taking charge and is, we're all safety officers, but as that team leader, that one person will be giving the hand signals, that one person can give the safety check to make sure everything's secure. So when we bring this down to you guys, it's going to come down and it's going to be just like this. So we'll lower it down to you guys, get it down, and you'll tear it apart. At this point, the helicopter will have flown away already. We'll give you guys some time to work on this, so we'll take off, give you guys a little bit of time, and you do what you got to do to get this thing ready to roll. So as you break it down, pull it out. The key to this, and I'm sure you guys are aware, but on this Stoke specifically, the key is to get these hooks in here to latch onto the female end over here. So to do that, you kind of got to make an inverted V. Get the 2 hooks together and slowly let it down. Now we know that this is secure. Then you can tighten this up. And at that point, you're going to get your victim, do whatever you got to do to get them inside of the Stokes basket. Once they're secure inside of here, you can start strapping them in. Color coded, so you can see all the way down. There'll be the colors. So just match them up. Once you got them all matched up, ready to go, red to the head, you'll get your team leader again to kind of make sure things are organized. So Eric will hand this to me. We tried the best we can to keep these cables nice and straight, not twisted up. We don't want things twisted, or we don't want to have one on that side and one on this side. We try to keep everything nice and clean for safety reasons. Each carabiner has a color marker on it. Red, red. I got red on this side. Eric tied his inside, again, just to keep it all in sync with each other. I'll put mine to the inside and secure that.
I'm gonna let you turn it so I can yank it the other direction.
Now, the last time you guys trained with us, I think we had the tagline towards the feet. And over some training that we've done, in-house training that we've done, we found that putting the tagline towards the head is giving you guys on the ground more control of the Stokes as we bring it up. So out here we had a lot more play, and you really had to maneuver hard. Now that we keep it on the tail or on the head, it really simplifies it, and it makes the tagline operator have much more control as the helicopter's going up. So obviously, red toward the head. We want to fly in forward flight. We want to have their head up in the front of the helicopter. So as we're flying forward, their face is exposed to all the elements. So they're facing away, looking backwards. So you give them the clear lift signal, everything's secure. That safety officer is already confirmed that everything's good to go, and we give the clear lift sign. We keep doing that until it's off the ground. So as the Stoke's coming up, you've got your guy that's holding the tagline. You see that there's 2 of them on the tagline. The first guy is really just going to control where the Stokes basket's going, and the second guy is really just there for another safety officer in the back to make sure that he can relay to whoever's holding the
When you're guiding the tagline, you want to let it go through your fingers. You don't have to hold it. You just kind of keep enough tension that it stays semi-taut. You just let it run through your fingers up, and then you can kind of move. If you have it the right tension, you can just kind of move your wrist back and forth to guide it. Your job is to help us get this thing past the skids, because the way the hook is set up, it's going to want to run into the bottom skid. So we just need to kind of keep it head toward the front of the aircraft, feet toward the rear, and maybe a slight pull out, not too much because you pop it when we get near the skids, and the TFO has to kind of push it out a little bit to get it there. Once it's seated on the tagline, we mark it at 20 feet and 10 feet, and then there's a stopper knot at the end. So when you're doing a two-person team, the second person should be pretty close to the guy controlling, the person controlling the tagline, so he can let me know,
20 feet.
20 feet, okay, 10 feet. If he gets to the stopper knot, we're pulling it. We don't want that stopper knot to go through your hands. Even if we still have a few feet to go, just pull that stopper knot because we don't want to drag the tagline behind the helicopter.
So second person, if you get to the stopper knot, you should just be holding on to it at this point. Don't let it go. All right, don't depend on the first guy to catch it. If you get to that stopper knot, just hold on to it and tell him to pull it. All right, this is where you're going to stop. Don't play any more rope out.
What I like to do as a second person is do like we do with the victim and hold your partner by the collar so you can yell at him. 10 feet, 20 feet, 10 feet. If you're standing 10 feet behind them, they're not going to hear you over the center of the helicopter. We get to the skids, the TFO is going to tell you to pull it if you can see them. If not, if the hook's all the way up and it's not going anywhere, you can pull it then too. Make sure you're wearing helmet and eye protection, and it's just a flick of the wrist. If you have too much slack on it, it's going to pop off, or if you hold it too tight, I'm sorry. If you hold it too tight, if you're firm grip on it, it's going to pop off on the way up. The hoist is going to pull it off. If you hold it loose like this, you're going to be doing that already. So it's just a nice tension, but you can just, that's about it right there. I can run it like that and let it run through my hands and just pop it when I need to. It's just something to keep in mind.
Any questions on the Stokes? I know you guys might have a different setup, but if we send it down, this is how we're going to send it to you guys.
We talked about, Manny's talked about how we switch to the head. We do that so you're not walking underneath the tail. If you need to, you're walking out front of the aircraft. If the terrain dictates the feet are the best way to do it, by all means, just let us know. We'll talk on the radio before doing the operation, just say, hey, the slope is this way, I need to go to the feet. Cool. Just be mindful that you don't walk underneath the tail or pull the tagline toward the tail so it wraps around the tail of the helicopter. That would end our trip real quick, so we'd rather not do that. Just let us know. We communicate all the time on the radio and we'll be good to go.
We don't use this very often, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You're just going to slide your victim inside there.
Kind of slide it themselves.
Yeah. There's a strap here. The hook will come down. Again, you'll have a rescue personnel. One of you guys will be down there for him. The hook will come down, hook up the hook, and tell your victim exactly again, give them that brief, tell them where you want to hold. There are these handles here, but I would say just kind of put it underneath their armpits just like you do with the strap. Your rescue personnel will give that clear lift signal, and this will bring you straight up. As it comes up, it'll start to get tight in here as well. So this is pretty self-explanatory.
They used it in the past to pluck a climber off the side of a cliff, where he basically just fell into it. But the way it works is there's little rods here with sleeves that just straighten them out and insert the sleeves so it's locked in position. All right, and that's all it works. You just jump inside of it and sit down. So it's pretty simple. Bottom bag is basically a soft Stokes. So just open it up in stages. There's straps all across the front of it. Big long section of Velcro. And there's more straps inside of it. So if you're gonna put a backboard in this, you'd want the backboard on the inside of these straps to hold it in position. So once you strap the inside, work your way from the inside to outside. Now you're gonna restrap the inside.
So it's used with or without a backboard?
With or without, it'll work either way. You can fit a Stokes in this too, couldn't you? You can put the Stokes in this too if you know there was a really severe cold issue or something like that. Maybe they were in severe shock and we were working really hard to keep them warm. It could be used for that as well. So. And then work on the outside straps.
There's a little circle cut out on one end where the head goes. Just
Yeah. Yeah, a little mummy bag. There's 4 straps on each side with the carabiner.
So just try to keep it nice and organized so you can safety check it.
We should have one more carabiner.
And you'll bring the hook down, hook it into both carabiners like so, and that's how it'll lift. There's a ring at both the head and the foot to attach a tag line to if you so desired, which we would want, obviously, but that's where the tag line would attach, and that's how it goes. So it's got a bunch of straps, but it's pretty simple.